may have been denied. You may have hit rock bottom. You may have been craving for the lights. Now, all strive for one goal.
Taking that life of the Akai as well. Then picks up the jump on the Emerald.
Put the hands together for the champion.
Do you have what it takes to be a champion worthy of the highest glory?
Good morning, people of this earth. We are live here in Malaysia for the M1 MLBB World Championships. And again, we are your shoutcasters, Manjin and Wolf, a.k.a. The Connection.
The Connection.
For day number 2 of the group stages.
This is day number 2 indeed. We've had very interesting matches yesterday.
All right.
Of course. And we already have interesting results as well because we did not expect EVOS SG to bow down or bow out of the tournament in day number 1. 2
MPL teams, if I'm not mistaken. The EVOS SG, the champs.
Yeah.
And then Impunity KH, the M1 qualifying team.
Yeah. They
fell short.
They are the ones who will not continue anymore in this tournament.
Yes, but we do have RRQ.
We have RRQ
and VFM securing their slot in the playoffs.
Yeah, the team from Vietnam, which was from the qualifier as well of M1, and they aren't from an M1, an MPL team, which made it very interesting. Nobody ever expected RRQ. EVOS SG to lose that way.
And and stats wise, we've been talking that we're not putting our cards to VFM. But again, this is Mobile Legends, man.
This is Mobile Legends.
Even wildcard teams can make it to the top.
Yeah, definitely. I think that when we were talking about this with the other casters, we have it through the Malaysian stream and of course the other casters in the English stream. Both of us, all of us, say that it's very likely for someone to lose in other esports titles, but in Mobile Legends it is very likely. We have, guys, a video for you to know more about the tournament.
As M1 is just around the corner, let's take a look at how the group stage live draw format is going to work. The 16 participating teams of M1 will be sorted into 3 pools, with the first and second pool consisting of the MPL qualified teams and the third pool consisting of the M1 qualified teams. From the 3 pools, teams will then be randomly drawn into 4 groups, with each group consisting of 1 team from the first pool, 1 team from the second pool, and 2 teams from the third pool. Team EVOS Singapore will be automatically seeded into Group A due to the home ground advantage of winning MPL Malaysia Singapore Season 4. In each group, each team will play 3 best-of-3 round-robin matches. Placings will be determined through the point system, with 3 points awarded for a 2-0 match, 2 points for a 2-1 match, 1 point for a 1-2 match, and 0 points for a 0-2 match. With that, the top 2 teams of each group will proceed to the playoffs, with the first place teams in the upper bracket and the second place teams in the lower bracket. These 8 teams will then go through a best-of-3 double elimination format. Day 1. All 8 teams will play on the first day of the playoffs. All matches will be played in a best-of-3 format. Day 2. The lower bracket matches will be played in a best-of-3 format. The winner bracket finals will be played in best-of-5 format. Loser going into the lower bracket finals the next day. Day 3. The lower bracket finals will be played in a best-of-5 format as the starting match of the day. The grand finals will then be played in best-of-7 format. The upper bracket team will be given side pick priority first. And with that, the first ever world champion of Mobile Legends Bang Bang will be crowned. Tune in starting this 11th November to witness history being made.
So that's the tournament format for M1 World Championships.
Yeah.
And of course, every win counts.
Yeah,
in this round robin day number 2.
You know what? We actually have the schedule right now, so that you will know who will be playing. Of course, the first match, it's going to be BURMESE GHOULS versus Axis ESPORTS. This is the best of 3 match that we will be casting.
Yep.
Of course, as we move forward, Axis will be going up against
Team Gozu.
Team Gosu.
Team Gosu.
Yeah, and then
from United States.
And lastly, that's Candy Comeback going up against BURMESE GHOULS. And then, of course, this is a round-robin format. Everybody will play each other. So that's going to be Gosu versus Team Candy Comeback in the first match.
For our prize pool, we do have $250,000 US, and the champion will take home $80,000
US.
Lot of money, lot of cash, of course.
This is probably the biggest, tournament of Mobile Legends in the whole globe.
The entire globe.
Because this is indeed the first iteration of M1.
Yep.
This is the first iteration of the World Championship. But of course, compared to other tournaments in the whole world, this is the biggest one for Mobile Legends.
And of course, if we're gonna talk about the round robin format, and if you are gonna think about it, you only need 2 zeros. You only need 6 wins.
Yeah, technically
if you get 4 straight. Yeah, 6 points. And if you get 4 straight wins, you will immediately go to the top 2.
RRQ, because after winning back-to-back series, they did get the berth, or the qualification to the playoffs.
Yeah, but a lot of things can happen still. I do feel that this bracket right now has an even playing field.
Yeah.
Right?
This is BURMESE GHOULS and Axis ESPORTS, and then you have Team Gosu with Candy Comeback. If you watch their games, very interesting. They're actually pretty strong. Like, for example, Candy Comeback, they did not even lose in their finals. And even in their upper bracket finals, in the qualifiers.
But of course, you have BURMESE GHOULS, who was in MSC back in June. So, of course, in terms of experience, they do have the advantage right now. But again, Axis ESPORTS will not back out.
For sure.
Of course, they will show up, and in terms of gameplay and play style, they do have this aggressive type of strategy, especially in the early game.
Yeah, I think we will recap what happened yesterday.
Yep.
Very excited to see this for sure.
All right.
Yeah, I think we have a recap.
But look at that go. Vin's gonna go in with the numerous blast, casting over onto 3 members with the flicker as well. Hurricane Dance playing onto the face, and now RRQ. And now here comes the team fight as well, forcing it onto the tour. But Liam in the middle of it all. It won't be. Rush is going to open up. WPL opens up the Hurricane Dance, but will force them away. But Liam somehow is still alive. As well, T-Max going for the Hurricane Dance. He's going to connect on 1 here. He will get this in here, but that's going to be how good. And a big spin. Ultimate, you're coming, Romana. Connects on it on, but Bobby getting used.
Then again, Unis Grows going to try to get away, but T-Max again with another zone. Broly just going to dance right in with the Esmeralda, but he gets picked off by the Archive. Great Hurricane Dance from RQ.
Getting all of these buffs.
But they did punish the hand this time. The North Trap is going to be used. They take out the Kaja this time. Altered Inferno completed by the task, but the Kimi is here. The Grok falls, but it doesn't matter.
Taking down 1, ladies and gentlemen. Here comes another Zaman Force, and that is a V
oh my
from
goodness.
the map. And what nice block coming in from the Grok.
Quite a bit of damage here, but on the backline, High Loss is going to be the first blood of choice. But Watt is so out of position that the rest of the team to back him up and push DFM into their jungle.
Blast.
It's going to be ALK, but Watt's likely going down. He manages to survive. The Revitalize is enough to keep him up. Hyde goes down instead. Meteor tower, allowing the rest of the team to come, but they're going to try and clear this last wave off before they have any opportunities left. Impunity might be able to hold on a little bit longer, but Deck is not having anything. Gato comes in with a big ultimate.
T-Max to force that flicker away and look at Hyde. He's getting chunked up by the Minotaur. That will be first left for the Valor as Lucky stranded in between, and JPL, the next one to
defense coming in from EVO's SG. They're gonna play from behind, but VFM, all this is red, is Vietnam written all over the scoreboard, and they will survive.
Was that a it was?
That is a three-man knockoff. The spear is real coming in from the Grok. And as we say this, Mr. Wolf, this is the easy part.
And I guess this is
There you
RQ
go. There
to
you
secure
go.
the 2-0. They're still playing with their foot, but this time though, a lot of very interesting matches in there. You saw that very close matches between EVO's SG versus Impunity KH. Or I mean VEC.
And of course, for you guys to catch every action, and if you want to stream like Cray, get unlimited data for all apps with Giller Unlimited GX30, only with you Mobile.
Of course, M1 World Championship is brought to you by our official sponsors, U Mobile, of course, live stream by YouTube Gaming, and of course presented by Moonton. It's gonna be our first match, BURMESE GHOULS and Axis Esports.
But before we go to that, I think we do have our top 5 plays.
Oh,
yesterday.
Out the Lord, and they are already in foremost here, committing into his fight. Is this the fight for their lives? And all 4 members are still left intact, only 1 leaving behind. But Tiny here is going to chunk down Soul. Soul still alive after that flicker, but Broly will make sure that they will stay dead. And look at Elasticity come from Tiny as well. This might just be the game, and it will be BFM fighting all the way back. WL, oh my goodness me! It will be a maniac for the Esmeralda as we see.
PH, hashtag word.
Hashtag Warp, let's see, because they do have the man advantage. It comes to Zaman Force. It's gonna clip onto the Claude, and the Claude goes down. Mega kill. Can they get the second one? Dams will have to run away from this angry. And I guess this is RQ to secure the 2-0. They're still playing with their foot, but this time, what will fall? That is gonna be the Chango down for the count.
That is the last hit coming in from the Synchro Vision. This is again the ultimate from the Badang.
Oh my goodness.
Hitting 3 heroes.
Ivo here just for the bonus damage. He's trying to break a fight against ATEV. ATEV, he's pretty much stuck here. Can he run? 2 bars gone. PD, this is going to be his 3rd fight about. He forces a flicker. Where is he running? Where are you running? Here comes Arkai. Where's the stun? Where is the Hurricane Dance? He forces the tower and he gets the kill. That's like a
company lurking. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes the Zaman Force. The Warriors Force is there. That is the last hit from Team RRQ. Blazing through it to get 3. And this is a 2-on-3 fight. And who is the Grok block? But here comes I am Jago and Sin. The solo queue player is in Malaysia. He will die inside the base. But 3 heroes did die from Impunity.
He doesn't need to be part of this fight, but he decides to go, and it looks like that backline is going to have a lot of trouble. T-Max, he's taking quite a bit of damage here, but on backline, high loss is going to be the first blood of choice. But what? It's so out of position with the rest of the team to back him through there.
Numenon Blast!
It's going to be A-OK, but what? Might be going down. He manages to survive. The Revitalize is enough to keep him up. Hyde goes down instead. Impunity win.
Those were the top 5 plays of yesterday's group stages. Lots of action.
That is lots of action. You see very clutch moments, like for example, that very clutch retribution to steal the Lord. Well, that was the reason why RRQ actually regained their momentum in that game. And then you also saw that clutch revitalize move
from the Hylos.
It was the Hylos who put it up, but it was Esmeralda to actually step in there, which is amazing. That's what.
And we did see Sin with a worthy play.
Yeah, the worst.
Diving onto tree, the hashtag worst.
Hashtag worst play.
And all of these Grok spears, the Grok block, and that is just day 1.
That is just day 1.
That is just day 1, guys.
I'm sure there will be plenty of action for today. In our first match, it's going to be BURMESE GHOULS versus Axis Esports.
Let's do it. I'm so pumped. I'm so excited to see this one. Both of these teams very aggressive in the early game. They do like to pick the Cho.
Both of them, yeah.
Both of them. So I do feel that in our new meta right now, we do have the split strategy. I do feel that there's going to be a lot of confusing skirmishes or misdirection.
Yeah. So what,
in this game.
What you're talking about is that there will be a lot of split pushes.
Yes.
That will be enabled by having this misdirection plays.
Yes, of course. The Cho is very similar to the Masha in terms of going for the split and probably going for one-on-ones.
Yeah. So what it does is you go for a hero that will stay in lane and just push constantly, and then maybe take a turret or two.
Take a turret or two, or just probably fight.
Probably fight. But I think we have the match.
Here we go.
All right. The draft for game number 1, it's Axis Esports again versus BURMESE GHOULS on the blue side. That's Axis. They hail from Malaysia, and they will be fighting against BURMESE GHOULS hailing from Myanmar.
And they immediately eliminated the Kufra from BURMESE GHOULS. Again, the early game potential for that Kufra, the early game CC, they are negating it right now. And they're probably setting up for a good mage here that can have an easy time in the mid lane without this Kufra.
So the thing is, Team Axis Esports, they're from the MYSG qualifiers. Well, actually not the qualifiers, MYSG MPL, and they have qualified for M1 after placing 4th place during the whole playoffs. So they lost against Resurgence after a very close 2-1 victory by Resurgence during MPL Season 4 of MYSG.
But again, you can never be too sure if it's Mobile Legends, man. Right now, BURMESE GHOULS banning the Kimi, removing the early jungle invade from Team Axis Esports.
Yeah.
What is the answer to this? Chango is open. And there you go, the classic Kaja Kufra ban, the double K.
The double K.
Banning the double K.
So now, BURMESE GHOULS should be considering banning out the Grok this time, or the X-Borg. And of course, Axis Esports, whoever gets a chance to take that Grok or X-Borg for sure will get it. So Axis Esports definitely will be considering and hinging their lineup onto that first pick.
Let's see, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we're live in YouTube Gaming. As you've said, X-Borg, very high ban rate, especially in day number 1. I think we have not, we did not see any X-Borg highlight plays.
Yeah, because X-Borg is usually banned. We only saw X-Borg once.
Yep.
That was, of course, Harith is going to be the choice.
So
this is interesting from BURMESE GHOULS, right? Because they know that the first pick belongs to Axis Esports. And instead of giving away one of the 2 top bans like the Grok and the X-Borg, they chose to give both so that they will open it up. This means that Axis Esports, they will have to choose this time. Is it going to be the Grok or the X-Borg or the Hylos?
Yeah, the Hylos is what I've been thinking right now. It is very successful. Yesterday, just baiting out skills and then using the Glorious Pathway to get away. And sometimes they do layer it with the Revitalize.
Yeah.
So, but as you said, it's the X-Borg. So, Axis Esports, they do have the security of sustaining the side lane, especially having the Firaga armor on X-Borg.
Sure. That's X-Borg, and of course the Grok, like we said,
an answer.
It's either X-Borg or Grok, and BURMESE GHOULS will have it. Now Hylos is there.
Yeah.
It is available and it will be picked. Exactly. Prediction 100%.
Prediction 100%. So, you have the Grok, you have the Hylos. What is the main counter? Probably
carry,
they will pick true damage, carry or a Lunox.
Should be carry.
Should be carry right now.
And then you go for maybe a Thanos.
Another support or another sustain lane. I think it should be a support.
You kind of need attack this time, so it probably is the Akai for Axis Esports so that it will not be banned by Burmese Ghouls. Or maybe get their mid laner this time. Like you said, the Lunox is available.
Yeah.
Maybe they will consider Chango this time because they are afraid of it. But of
I
course,
think, more damage.
Carry.
More damage.
Your team
and this is scary
picking.
because Axis Esports now investing into the late game for the Scary and this Lunox. The more HP you have, the harder the damage it gets.
Yeah, I think that they will consider the Chango this time because it might be banned out.
Yeah.
So the idea here is Burmese Ghouls should look for a Durance carrier. And definitely Chango is one of those candidates to actually hold the Durance. And it makes a lot of sense this time. And you know what, Manjin? We have predicted everything.
We have predicted everything, man. 100% predict.
100%
predictions since yesterday, bro.
Since
yesterday. We're on a roll right now. Okay, so what do they ban? For Team Burmese Ghouls, the Masha and the Granger is still open for the taking. So I think if they want that cover up type of play,
makes a lot of sense for Burmese Ghouls. I think they will consider banning out a tank this time. Like for example, get the Akai out or the Lolita, so that it will not be available for Axis Esports to get because they can counter it. Another option is the Baksha, which we saw yesterday. Which kind of is good against the Burmese Ghouls, but instead they're going to go and ban out the Valier this time.
Okay, so I think they will go all in. The main problem for the Valier here is that it can negate an immediate dive because of the pushback of the Searing Flames.
Yeah.
They will probably go for an assassin right now or a fighter still to match up with the Glorious Pathway mobility.
Jawhead.
Okay, there you go. There you go. That is a fighter.
Picking.
It's a Jawhead. So they will go for pick-offs right now.
They will definitely go for pick-offs this time. Axis
on how the way way they drafted.
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot as well.
Yeah, I think that if you think about it, Burmese Ghouls have really a very good control. Very good idea of how they drafted, right? The order of picks. They get the best tanks first, and then they go for the Chango. There's a good answer, however, from Burmese Ghouls. That was Lunox.
Yeah, I do feel
Axis. I mean,
I do feel that Burmese Ghouls, they baited out the Lolita pick.
Definitely.
Because of the Jawhead that they have. Yes.
They aren't scared of the Lolita anymore because they have the Jawhead. And they last picked the Bruno, which makes a lot of sense this time because it has so much damage in it.
Yep.
So much big chunks of damage instead of those very small damage types, like for example the Claude or the Carry.
But let's see, because that's actually hard to do, especially if you need to target one using your ejector as a player. But again, these guys are pro players. So what am I saying right now? All right.
Yeah, definitely they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. Of course, it's all up to the supports here for this game, and I do like it because we did see a bait battle for that draft. Here we go. On to the Celestial Palace. Game number 1 for day number 2. Long will be using the carry Scott as the X-Born. Rin as the Lunox. Evil X will be using the Lolita, and Lassie will be using the Mash.
On the other side, you have Burmese Ghouls. It's going to be maybe on this Tank Rock. It's Ice on this Hylos. Actually, it's Kid on this Chango. It's PV and DV on this Jawhead and Ace on the Bruno.
Alright, so in the mid lane, we do have a little bit of pokes here from the Grok and Kid, but I do like what Axis Esports is doing. They are giving Long the time of his life. This will of course go to the Lunox, but right now Carry, having the Bounty Hunter, will get a good amount of XP to deal with this Jawhead in the bottom lane. So if the Carry goes level 4 before 2 minutes, the Lolita can just immediately leave him be and enjoy his time here in the bottom lane.
Now they will try to take this River Crab and are able to take it for sure. They're forcing out the Joy this time. They're diving towards it. They will go for, of course, the unstoppable force. Well, that is happening up top already. There's a push on the turret, which is very, very quick.
Very quick, very quick, very fast. but both of these teams having the same plan at the same time. Unfortunately for Access Esports, the turtle will spawn in the top lane. So right now, I think they don't need to set it up because BURMESE GHOULS has the map advantage. Plus, they are now having their early boots, so they can rotate very quickly in the top. So as we can see, the Bruno and Ice is setting up for this objective take as they will push out the tower.
Yeah, I think it's very important for anyone, particularly for BURMESE GHOULS, to secure all of the turrets against their enemies, because what it does is it gives you map control. At least it increases your real estate in the game.
There you go, like we said. But again, this is the early game damage coming in from Rin. The Order of Chaos really paying off.
This is a lot of damage, of course, coming out from this Lunox. And there's a lot of pressure, however, from BURMESE GHOULS in the middle. Expert will be here to defend, as well as the Lolita.
Initiate retreat!
And they will just retreat this time, but they have the damage onto the Grok. Grok, however, runs away. Very, very tanky.
Maybe survives, even popping that movement speed sprint. There you go. The turtle for an exchange for a kill. I will always take that. But again, Team BURMESE GHOULS having more experience, especially in the international scene. They do lead by around 1,000 right now, and Kid is at level 7.
Launch attack.
He will probably go for the immediate Ring of Durance or a burst item.
Yeah, Durance for sure. Let's see how they will utilize this early lead coming up from the Chango, but instead they will just secure the grab. There is the ejector. There you go. They want to go for the core this time.
Whoa!
But of course, a very nice usage of the wild charge to stop the bulwark.
That is part 2 of the death of Team Access Esports. As again, we've said this in the early game, you will pick the Jawhead for picks. For pickups, and that is going to be an objective here in the bottom lane for Team BURMESE GHOULS, and they do want to shut down the space being created too long. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
It's going to be a block from the Grok. Meteor shower is not available, but this means that they will again take away the buffs from Access Esports. They always do this, and very importantly, BURMESE GHOULS having the lead right now, getting all the turrets as well as the buffs. Now the glowing one is already available for this Chango.
There you go. It's going to be another clash here in the jungle. That is the last Insanity Beam pop. That is a Numinum Blast as well to cancel out more engage for Team BURMESE GHOULS. But as I say this, they will just pick up one and they will be very disciplined. They will just disengage.
Just disengage, not being overly aggressive, not overextending against their opponents so that they will maintain this lead. Still 2,000 at this point. Kind of have to wonder, after 2 turret takes, it's still not a big lead from BURMESE GHOULS. This means that some members of Access Esports are actually farming well. Like for example, the Masha, as well as the Lunox, they're having a good time. But again, they should utilize their farm to defend their turrets at this point.
But again, in terms of tempo control, BURMESE GHOULS are the ones dictating where to fight and who to kill. And like this, Evil X even surviving with a slither of health. That is a Numinum Blast counter go, and this is too deep coming in for BURMESE GHOULS. But 2 heroes will fall down from each of the teams. BURMESE GHOULS underestimating that Lolita shield.
Yeah, there's just way too much defense. We will have the U-Mobile highlights this time. A very nice usage of the wild charge. However, they should not have been chasing this time. Of course, with the defense from the Lolita able to run away, the Numinum Blast even connects, and it punished the members of BURMESE GHOULS.
That is indeed a nice flicker from Evil X to dodge out the second skill of this Chango, and it will give Access Esports the ability to come back from this small deficit right now. It's still an even ball game. I do feel that Access Esports, when we go up to 9 minutes, they will deal a lot of damage.
Turtle resurrecting soon.
It's very, very important. This time, gonna block on the drop. Now they will attempt to go for the turtle at this point. BURMESE GHOULS, they do have a lot of control around the turtle area, and they are able to take it very easily, extending their lead once again, and of course giving them a better chance of winning the team fights because of the turtle buff.
Yes, you are definitely right. But look at this, both of these carry players, the marksman, is having a good time, just farming up along with one vet. The Bruno still doing nothing yet. But as you can see, in terms of scaling, the Bruno is better in terms of one-on-one against the carry, especially having the crits. But as I say this, Team Axis Esports still buying time, pushing out the top tier 2 tower.
So instead of doing anything else, what Axis Esports did was just to match the movements of BURMESE GHOULS. They just pushed the bottom lane, the top lane, when instead of defending the bottom lane, but there will be a clash. There's no Luminum Blast. It's gonna hit out to one, but they are able to kill off another.
There you go. That is indeed a late glorious pathway, ladies and gentlemen. The fire is burning on the dance floor for Mr. Scott, but Bruno will shut down the Masha, and here comes a retaliation play coming in from BURMESE GHOULS. One by one. Shower in the meteor, says Kid 001. That is the flicker, and that is the ejector for the Lunox. And Bruno taking down the mage player.
What a play from BURMESE GHOULS. Very nice comeback. This is the replay, like we're saying right now. Could be a kill, of course. That's the Luminum Blast only connecting with one, but the Glorious Pathway actually helped them win this fight. They are able to take 2 kills, but because of their overextension, Axis Esports actually lost more, and BURMESE GHOULS, of course, capitalized on this overextension from Axis Esports.
Yes, and the range is just too far from Axis Esports to reach Kid 001 and A002. Clutch flicker in, coming in from the Jawhead to immediately respond to Axis Esports disengage.
Needs that the Lord will be in here for the taking for BURMESE GHOULS, slowly taking over this time with the Grok.
That is a
spotting out the members of Axis Esports this time. Go for the Lord, of course, with the Bruno in there. They do have the damage. Berserker's Fury picked up by the Bruno, and the Divine Glaive for Kid on the Chango.
So you have the crits and you have the magic penetration. What can the Firaga and the Bulwark Shield do right now? 7-5 is the score, ladies and gentlemen. BURMESE GHOULS. They do want to set up the Lord. They're pushing out all of the lanes, and the Lord will go to the bottom lane. Kid 001 just popping all of these meteor showers to get all the pokes that they need.
Very aggressive maneuver coming out from the Hylas, but the Bruno is here. They're taking the damage. It's actually hurting the members of Axis Esports. The Glorious Pathway is there, but the Hylas will still die. Will there be more coming out from Axis Esports? No, because BURMESE GHOULS, all they wanted was the top tier 2 turret.
Yeah, they just want to push. That is a sacrificial play coming in from the support. But right now, the Lord is here onto the bottom side. That is another wild charge. Here comes the Luminum Blast. Kid flickering in. Unlikely, ladies and gentlemen. And there comes the push coming in from BURMESE GHOULS. They do want to end the game. That is another ejector play. Alley-oop coming in.
Shower.
Coming in from the Jawhead, and everyone is on the floor. Just like Bruno Mars. Triple kill from this Bruno.
Oh my goodness. This Bruno sang the song, and Axis Esports, they danced all the way through it on cue, and now they're falling out. That's the wipeout, and of course the victory by BURMESE GHOULS.
Turn down the lights and close the door. Axis Esports is on the floor.
My goodness.
Says Bruno, says A007, BURMESE GHOULS securing game number 1.
A very, very, very quick game. One-sided, I would say. Not in a way that they are always winning the fights, but one-sided in terms of map control. And in terms of the tempo as well, BURMESE GHOULS are controlling it. Why do I say by tempo control? It means that they're dictating the pace of the game.
Yes.
They decide where the fights will be.
Yes.
They decide where to push. And all that Axis Esports did was to overly react to what they are doing. And eventually, they lost all the grasp of the game.
I do like the decision making from BURMESE GHOULS, exchanging a turtle for 2 towers.
Yeah.
Exchanging a tower for a turtle and a kill. So every time that they do that, they win. They win the exchange.
Yeah, definitely. Because of the trade-offs that are always favoring the members of BURMESE schools, eventually Axis Esports, they have lost economy.
Yes.
There was a time where they don't trail by a lot, right?
Yeah.
The lead in terms of gold wasn't that much.
Yes.
Because of course, maybe the Masha is able to get some farm as well as the Lunox.
Yes.
But of course, if they don't convert what they have in terms of gold into items that can defend against their opponents, you saw that Axis Esports slowly lost that match. We will see the highlights, however. A lot of action for sure from this Grok, the playmaker from
the playmaker from the team, the Grok and the Jawhead connection. Look at this. Look at the discipline of BURMESE Esports. They do have the movement speed of the Glorious Pathway, but they opted to back off.
Yeah.
They said, hey, you are leaving your lane. Please stay in your lane and just go for kills, go for the pressure. And these guys are good in business, you know.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, this was probably the most failed attempt.
Yeah, this was an overextension for them.
For BURMESE schools.
Yeah.
But again, in plays like this, the one who controls the tempo is indeed winning and controlling the game.
This is the big turnaround, right? You can feel that Axis Esports, they're winning already. But when the Jawhead came, when the overextension happened, they were duly punished. And Bruno was freely hitting from long distance, and when they tried to chase him, it just turned it around. And of course, the Meteor Shower was already available. The cooldown is just way too fast.
Way too short, yes.
Way too short. And look at this. Of course, the kill on the Lunox.
Nice outplay right there from the Jawhead Panda. This was the last fight. This was just a clean Bruno game for Team BURMESE schools. They did buy time. They did buy time for this Bruno to get this oomph of damage. And as we said, as Bruno Mars said,
they're all on the floor.
They're on the floor. That is a total wipeout from BURMESE schools, and they look strong coming into game number 1. What is the next strategy for Axis Esports?
You know what? I think that they should not be changing their strategy in terms of their draft. I think their draft is okay.
Good,
I think they have a definite win condition, but it's just that Axis Esports, they aren't able to accomplish that win condition because they're not defending their turrets very well. They're depending on pushing. They're matching the movements of BURMESE schools, and they know that with this Bruno, with this Chango, they cannot match that. Even when they have the Masha, it will not be enough.
Unfortunately, for the side of Axis Esports, they were leading before the 2-minute mark. But again, sometimes the map itself dictates who wins. Like for example, the first respawn of the turtle, it was in the top lane, and Team BURMESE schools were setting up in the top lane.
Oh yeah. So what happened there was when BURMESE schools set up for their pushes, it's kind of like basing on what is happening in the map. For example, if the turtle is respawning in the turtle lane, they will try to push around it.
Yes.
And then when there is a little bit of push from Axis Esports from another side of the map, they just, turbo mode push on the opposing lane.
Yeah. Or if they do have the disadvantage of the Lord and the turtle, they will force out fights so that whenever there is a turtle take or an objective take, they have the advantage because they picked off one. Yeah. So it's going to be a 4-on-5.
Yeah, definitely. That's the first thing that you should be doing when you are attempting a turtle, right?
Yes.
Go for the part where you will get the advantage. Pick off one from the opposing team, and then, of course, take the objective afterwards.
Yes. And, of course, create space, as always. You do have that Bruno late game, as we've said. So Team BURMESE Ghouls looking pretty happy right now, as they are pumped coming in to this day 2 of the group stages. Axis Esports, like what you've said, they do have a good draft, but I think that they need to fight fire with fire. They need to hope for an outplay. More plays like Evil X's flicker out, dodging the Chango. But man, what a game!
What a game indeed. We are seeing the mastery from BURMESE Ghouls of this lineup.
Yeah.
It's quite a textbook type of composition that we already know and we've been talking about a lot. And there's a reason why we predicted the heroes that will be picked in the right order.
Yes.
It makes a lot of sense why the 6 first heroes that were picked in this game were predicted by both of us, because we know that this is the way to go. This is the standard strategy now existing in the meta. And Burmese Ghouls know exactly how to play it. They have executed very well, and they did take the victory.
I definitely agree. And of course, I do feel that was an unexpected jawhead for Team Burmese Ghouls.
Yeah.
Jawhead is strong for the first 5 minutes of the game due to the fact that it can charge you, that is homing, and it has the threat, it has the potential to burst you down alone because of the smart missiles.
That's the problem. That's the big takeaway that you get from the Jawhead, right?
Yes.
That's the reason why the Jawhead was very, I would say, famous in the first season of MPL, all throughout the league that we have here for Mobile Legends. Very strong tank, very, very tanky, very quick because of the unstoppable force back then. Jawhead was just so imbalanced back then.
Yes.
Now, still have some of the facets that you have from the Jawhead, and you will get it. Now this time, however, into the draft, I'm not entirely sure if the Jawhead will be picked once more.
Let's see.
But Burmese Ghouls, they ban out the Kimi and the Hylas instead. So this will make Grok available for Burmese Ghouls.
Alright, so as you've said, Grok is in the pool, but they will go for the cock. Kaja is here. So again, more aggressive strategies for game number 2, especially having this Kaja. I do feel that the Kaja right now is transitioning to a fighter carry role. I do see players going for the impure rage.
Is picking.
Although Kaja, but playing as a support as well.
Lunox.
So with the Grok available for Axis Esports plus the Harith, Lunox is the natural choice for Burmese Ghouls.
Yeah.
Maybe they will consider the carry, but it's still pretty early to do that. Although it does make a lot of sense against this Grok.
Yeah.
But then again, they have to look for an answer to the Harith as well.
The Akai is open, actually. The Cho is good, I think.
I think that if they don't get the Cho this time, Axis Esports definitely will go for the Cho.
Yeah. Okay.
However,
there you go.
Is the choice for Burmese Ghouls. Back-to-back Jawhead plays.
Yeah, 2 options here for Burmese Ghouls to go for an aggressive pick-off. The Divine Judgment and, of course, the Ejector. Plus, they do have a good amount of burst damage coming in from this Lunox. So, again, we're expecting another early game aggressiveness for Team Burmese Ghouls. Meanwhile, look at this. Axis Esports Club. They're now confused because of this Jawhead. But they will answer it with their own Bruno pick.
A very early Bruno pick. Now, the idea here is to just burst on your opponents. Have this dash that will actually help your team.
The volley shot.
Just a little bit of stun as well.
Yep.
And what happens right now is that Burmese Ghouls will definitely be shocked because of the Bruno pick. It's very early. And I think that for Burmese Ghouls, they should not be putting themselves into a tunnel vision onto the Bruno.
Yeah.
Look for what Axis Esports is trying to do and maybe ban against them or work around against that.
This is where it gets tricky, ladies and gentlemen. The second phase
Your team is
of this game. Yeah. Again, they're banning the Valor because it neglects their dive potential, as we did see it in game number 1.
They did ban out the Valor in game number 1.
Yeah, game number 1.
This means
I feel that they can go for an assassin fighter right now because they do have 2 supports that can go all in, can target the Bruno.
Your team
The carry is
picking.
open, but I feel for Burmese Ghouls, they can pick either the Cho, a Hayabusa, or if they want it safe, they can probably go for the Tams to deal with the Harith.
Tams makes a lot of sense in here since the Hylas is not available. And the reason why they ban out the Granger is because they want the sustain heroes.
Sustain heroes, yes.
Could be another Rafaela actually. Could be a choice here for Axis Esports. If they want Oranestes,
yeah,
some of those healers, even a Digi can be available for Axis Esports for them to use.
Just to counter out the Jawhead and the Divine Judgment from this Kaja, right?
Timed perfectly well, but
yes,
of course it's going to be hard.
Oh.
Baksha also is their additional choice.
Your team
the
is
instant
picking.
Initiation from the Baksha actually could be enough.
Carry.
This time, Burmese Ghouls, we did mention that the carry is available for them to take.
And they will definitely take it.
Definitely take it. Maybe another tank this time.
I think Teresa and Thams is perfect here for the side of Burmese Ghouls. They lack the sustainability
Maybe an Akai
right now. Or Akai?
I think an Akai is good against the Harith.
Okay.
They will go for the God of Kacha.
Okay.
Wow.
Your team
so,
is
yes,
picking.
they will go for the tank, but they need more crowd control. They want to catch out this Harith and this Bruno, and then just burst them out by using the Lunox and the carry.
So you will have a lot of control against the Harith. Because the Harith is like a zone control or, a territorial type of hero where he lays on the Zaman Force and tries to fight in there. Avatar of the Guardian could be perfect against this type of strategy because when the members of Axis Esports jumps on one member of Burmese Ghouls, you will have the Gada Gacha with the Avatar of the Guardian to disengage.
Yeah.
And maybe, try to counter-initiate against their opponents. Masha is going to be the last pick, however, for Axis Esports.
Yeah, okay. So I think they're forced out to play the Masha because in terms of the Wombo combo clash, I do feel that Burmese Ghouls has the better composition due to the damage and due to the crowd control. As we can see, nobody is picking up the Purify here from Team Axis Esports.
Oh, yeah.
This is a standard late game draft for them.
Yeah.
And I do feel Burmese Ghouls won that draft.
It's gonna be. I don't think that it's either. I don't think it's about winning or losing that kind of draft. I think it's more about having your own set of win conditions, right?
Yes.
For example, in the lineup of Axis of Burmese Ghouls, they have a straightforward type of strategy where they have the carry in the late game. They have good setups in terms of their early game. Maybe it's because the Jawhead is not that easy to execute. Maybe that's where you'll have your doubts. But Burmese Ghouls, they have mastered this Jawhead so well that they will pick it up. Now, Axis Esports, I think they also have a very good strategy. They have the Baksha and the Masha, the new heroes in town.
Yep.
And they will be the ones to surprise Burmese Ghouls. It's going to be up to them on how they will use these tools to actually get the victory.
5 seconds.
Let's see, ladies and gentlemen, Axis Esports get that game number 3?
All troops deployed.
Aksha and Baksha combination coming in for their team. Maybe we'll be using the Kaja Panda as the Jawhead, Kid 001 as the Lunox, Ice. We'll be using the Kadot Kacha and Ace 007 as a carry.
Axis Esports on the red side this time, initiating with the Kadot Kacha, with actually the Grok, but the Grok will have to flicker away. That's Rin on the Harith, and Evil on this Grok. It's Long on this Bruno. It's Scott on this Baksha, and Lacid on this Masha.
Okay, so the idea here for Team Axis Esports is just they will let Baksha and Masha control the map. Unlike game number 1, which Team Burmese Ghouls is dictating the team fights, Axis Esports has the ability right now to run away from team fights and just go for split pushes because of the wild power and because of the Baksha shield unity per skill.
Of course.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shielding that can come out of Scott, especially in the early game. It's very hard to penetrate through the defenses of the Basha in the early game.
Yes.
And of course, there's a lot of potential for initiations, courtesy of the Basha. That is one thing that Burmese Ghouls should watch out for. And already, they're initiating. However, they've dived too deep. They dove too deep, I mean.
Yeah, okay.
Giving the first blood to Ace. This is really bad news for Axis Esports.
Okay, but nice usage
Oh no.
of the spinning light wheel coming in from Ace 007.
007 for
Yeah,
Ace.
Ace 007 immediately killing that wagon.
Wow.
For the turret to change this target.
Turtle resurrecting soon.
Very nice decision coming out from Ace. Instead of going for the drop right after he just went. Look at this, the damage output from the Jawhead just because of the ejector and the missiles. More than enough to actually force out the members of Axis Esports away. Now Turtle, it's gonna be there, and now it's gonna be a big problem for the Rock. Uses the figure. There you go, the dash in, and of course the damage from a Panda.
No matter where you go, no matter where you live, I will find you and I will follow you. That is, of course, the ultimate from the Jawhead, and that is the first objective of the game in an exchange for a tower coming in from Axis Esports. But slowly and surely, BURMESE GHOULS is increasing their income against the Axis Esports team.
So the economy favoring BURMESE GHOULS, it's gonna be up to them and how they will convert this into pushes. Again, it doesn't matter if you get your kills. As long as you don't get the turrets, it won't matter. So BURMESE GHOULS, they should be looking to force the objectives right now, and I think that they will.
They will definitely do it, as they are forcing out the mid lane tower. The second round of objectives is now here. Here we go. A007 is on a killing spree. That is a disaster, and that is an invade from both of these carries, ladies and gentlemen.
Very nice movement from BURMESE GHOULS. Instead of answering the top lane push with the Harith, they know that they will not be able to push that because of the Jawhead. They just invaded on the blue buffs. And again, with the damage output that they have, and the early advantage that this carry has, there's just way too much true damage and HP-based damage that even the Basha and his defenses cannot stand against this carry and this Lunox.
I just can't get over about what happened with A007 right there in the bottom lane. That was just basic MOBA. Just clear out the wave then let the tower do the work. And because of that, it negated the rotation that Axis Esports wanted.
On the middle, there's already a push. Bottom, there could be another push here, and it will be there. BURMESE GHOULS already securing two turrets.
Resurrecting soon.
And they will now move towards a turtle.
There you go. Panda is actually doing a good job in dealing with the smash. I look at this tower, it's still very healthy. I do feel for the side of Axis Esports, they need to immediately force out a team fight and hope for picks, because right now the late game from the side of BURMESE GHOULS is coming in early.
The game is coming in early. I like what you're trying to say there, but of course the top lane will be destroyed by long. And I like this decision from Axis Esports. Instead of trying to contest for the turtle, they just push the top lane. It's a fair trade if you think about it, and BURMESE GHOULS, at least, I mean, Axis Esports at least will not make the deficit far too long, far too big, I would say.
Yeah, there you go. But four of these four heroes from BURMESE GHOULS is rotating up in the top lane. Lacid, there's the switch coming in for both of these teams. Trying to control each lane. There you go. 3-man spear coming in from the Grok. That is the ultimate from Mr. Scott. The Grok block won't do anything as the carry will push out the top lane. And there you go. Like we've said earlier, Panda, the Jawhead can burst you down if you catch all of those smart missiles that he has. 5-1 is the score, and Team BURMESE GHOULS is still controlling tempo.
Oh my goodness, they even took down the Masha with a solo kill. That is how strong this Jawhead is.
Yes. A surprise pick coming in.
Very surprising pick in there. Now they take out the Harith as well up top. The control from the Gadokacha is just way too good.
Yes.
And my goodness, BURMESE GHOULS showing a lot of pocket strategies in just their first game and showing us how they've mastered it so well. This Jawhead is so much of a problem for Axis Esports.
Crowd control is the name of the game for BURMESE GHOULS right now. You have the Unbreakable, you have the Iron Fist, you have the Divine Judgment, you have the Ejector and the Wild Charge.
Soon.
The A007 and Kid001 will just go for the basic attacks. That's their job. That's the most basic of them all. And they will go for the third objective, which is the turtle. This is clearly a dominating performance for BURMESE GHOULS. What can Axis Esports do?
Well, the first thing that they can do is to activate their split push strategy by having the Masha. But by activating, there's a lot of checkboxes that they need to tick first. For example, they have to find their buffs on the Harriet first.
Yep.
They have to team fight with the Grok and against Burmese Schools. Maybe force, of course, the members of Burmese Schools to react before they can even start their split push. And that's going to be very hard.
Whoa.
Look at Eyesight just threatening Axis Esports with this turtle buff. Burmese Schools are bullying Axis Esports.
Yeah, the lane bull is right here. Lacid cannot do anything right now against this Jawhead. Maybe, look at this, just baiting out his first kill.
Definitely.
I mean, his ultimate.
Wow.
And dude, Burmese Schools are really in control. That is the second, probably the first core item for Scott. The defensive item, which is the Athena shield. But it cannot do anything against the true damage of the carry. There you go, Lacid falling low. Look at that.
Have to back away.
Only one, with just one Phantom Step. The Grak is in half health.
Definitely, and now they would try to go. Very nice Grok block in there. The Divine Judgment is just threatening, but of course, they're going to kill the Grok.
That is the first push coming in from Burmese Schools, ladies and gentlemen. And basic attack times 3,000 coming in from this carry and the Lunox. And I think we have game. What can Bruno do? He can only sing. Ladies and gentlemen, 10-1. Burmese Schools is putting on a show.
Lassie will try to match this push, but it will not happen. Burmese Schools knocking on the base, and they might take it in just a few seconds. There will be a defense, however, as they clear out the minion wave, and they punish, however, the Grok for overextending. Lassie just showing itself will be bursted down. So much damage from the Lunox, almost taking down the Bruno this time, and the Inhibitor down the bottom lane.
The Order of Chaos doing chaotic things to Axis Esports. All they need to do is hope, and all they need to do is to defend this base. Burmese Schools was actually too hasty from that fight. They did not want to end the game that quickly. But again, man, total control and total dominance for Team BM.
We did say that Burmese Schools, they have this type of strategy. They have this type of draft where all they have to do is the standard mode of play.
Yes.
It's textbook already for Burmese Schools. All they have to do is literally just execute their lineup and achieve their win conditions. And boy, Burmese Schools showed us how to perfectly play Mobile Legends with even different or new meta type of picks.
Yeah.
They have the Jawhead and they have the Gadokacha. Not your most picked heroes for sure. But because of the idea of the draft that's textbooked in its own way,
yes,
they just showed us how to win with these heroes.
How to play basic MLBB. And of course, Jawhead is the hero to look out for Team BM, Burmese Schools. So sorry, BMG. There you go, man. Look at the damage of this carry. Order of Chaos plus the light wheel mark. My goodness. There's no stopping the kid.
This kid is not kidding at all.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, maybe. Actually taking some damage in. They're not going to be able to land the Divine Judgment. They're clearing out the minion wave. And slowly, the Lord is here.
There you go.
Kill the Masha.
There you go.
Kill from the Jawhead.
There you go. Can't go one-on-one with the Jawhead. And Team Burmese Schools, they want to end this. That is 3 points for Team Burmese Schools coming into this group stages of Day 2 of M1 World Championships.
This is not the Burmese Schools that we saw in MSC.
Yes,
this is a completely different Burmese Schools, woken up with their new strategies, with their new pocket picks, pocket strategies. So we saw Jawhead and the Gadokacha perfectly destroying Axis Esports. The first game, it was all meta type of strategy where you get the Chango